Morning, folks. It's your old Uncle Jason here. I'm gonna talk to you about some resources that I use on the daily. It helps me through some of the tough times and even some of the easier times whenever I'm not having conversations with you folks. The first thing I want to disclaim, I'm not endorsed by any of these resources. I simply benefit from the knowledge and wisdom contained within. With that said, here's some truth. The first thing, obviously, I use our daily bread. You all have been listening to the spiritual breakfast videos I post every morning. That's one resource. They also have an app that I use to listen to it on my drive back and forth to wherever. Sometimes the articles don't match up with the book, but it's still some good word and encouragement through those pages. Second thing I use is an app from pray.com. It's the app icon is black with the white word pray in the middle of it. You can subscribe to that app, but it's also a good bit of it is free. There's a lot more bells and whistles in the subscription. There's a community all over the world that you can get involved with, that you can pray with, that you can even support in various manners. Second one, a disclaimer, this one is more geared towards our Catholic brothers and sisters. However, there's still some good word within it. Right now, they're running a hashtag, that hashtag Stay Prayed Up. They're doing it for Lent. There's many celebrities that endorse this particular app. There's also celebrities that endorse and do podcasts on the Pray app. They all, like I said, they have a lot of stuff on there. I encourage you to check them out. As for content, as in videos and media, there's an app that I'm sure you've heard of the video series, The Chosen. I recommend you check that out. That's some good word. Brings the visual effect of that of the Gospels and the Bible. The actor that portrays Jesus came up with the app Hallow. Or Hallow, I should say. I'm sorry, Hallow. I recommend you try you take a look for yourself and see if it works for you. As for the Bible, we can debate all day about the translations. I personally use the King James Bible because I believe it works best for me because I can understand it. May not be able to pronounce everything correctly, as you probably have already guessed. However, there's more teeth to it, in my opinion. It's the difference between thou shalt not and do not. As I said, more teeth. But it's an older language. I like older things because I'm more old-fashioned myself. May not work for you, and that's perfectly all right. As long as you're following after Jesus, believing in Him that God raised from the dead and His shed blood cleanses us of all sin, you're already on the right path. And I also caution you to try every spirit that comes down the pipe, whether it be of God, as it is written. Because even the things that seem of God may not be. This is Bible, but whenever Christ fasted for 40 days and nights, the devil came to tempt him. The devil gave him the word, but he left one little piece out of it. Some people might say that's a contradiction. but in reality it's not. Satan knows the Bible inside and out. He goes to church more than most of us. But he's far from God. It's a little bit of a taste of beefsteak for you. I encourage you to find out what that is. Find out what it means. As for churches, I encourage you to find a Bible-believing church, a Bible-preaching church, and a church that is legitimately devoted to fellowship and the spreading of the Word of God. You will find all manner of churches, all manner of texts, all manner of doctrine in this world. But if it does not profess the shed blood of Christ, and that Christ is God in the flesh, do not follow them, because they are going to a place where you have no business being. And this is where being in a Bible-believing, Bible-preaching church is paramount, because this is where you can get somebody else's perspective, where you both, or the entire group for that matter, can get in and look at it from several different ways. Because if you're just looking at it from yourself, you only have your own thoughts to contemplate, and then you run the risk of coming into an echo chamber. So, with that said, find you something that works for you. Outside of that, when it comes to preaching the Word, because I talk to people about God a lot. I may not preach a sermon, but I do minister to people. What helps me on my daily walk is writing my thoughts down in a journal. I keep one journal for my thoughts, anecdotes, and all the random nonsense that's within the alphabet soup of my mind. And I also keep a spiritual journal where I keep all my commentaries, thoughts, questions about whatever devotional I may be reading at the time. I encourage you, if this appeals to you, to do it. The reason why I write my thoughts down is because I'm a very visual person. I can then, once I write my thoughts down, I then can put it right beside the Word of God and see if it lines up. Now, I understand we have technology, and you could easily do that, but I'm also a very hands-on person. If the hard copy version is in my hand, I see it, I can read it, I learn it better. If technology works better for you, then by all means, use it. Also, I recommend this for people who have ADHD like I do, and all manner of nonsense, hence why I call my mind an alphabet soup. And I said this before, but get you one of these. Get you an old-timey candle. Depending on how many times you use it, I recommend getting one of the thicker ones. Light you that candle. Turn off all the technology lights. Read under the soft glow of the candle. If one candle isn't enough for you, get two. And also, when it comes to candles, I have the image of Jesus on this candle, and I light it every time. The candle itself has no significance, but to me, what I do is that it's a visual representation of spending time with God. That particular one I got over at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. It's just a simple symbolism. It does not invoke anything. There's nothing tied to it. It's just something that I do between me and the Lord. If it works for you, then by all means, I encourage you to do it. If it doesn't and you don't feel comfortable doing it, then don't. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's Bible. Also, one of the things that I justify before I forget. We humans always have had fire for as long as history is recorded, even before. It's symbolic for safety. When you're around the fire, the predators stay away. It invokes the survival instinct of the mind to let the mind know that you're in a safe spot. Caution you, it is fire. Things can go wrong, so use good wisdom when it comes to using candles. Don't leave them unattended. Like my grandfather always said, if you're going to be stupid, be smart about it. So if you're going to use candles, don't put it near anything flammable. Don't leave it unattended. Don't leave it burning for longer than X amount of time. We all know the safety factors of it. It's just a little tidbit for you to use. So, a little bit about what I do. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay blessed, and as always, stay in the shadow of the Almighty. This is your old Uncle Jason signing off.